Man, it's 2024, right? Doesn't it just feel like the time is just flying by? Those moments where you just feel like you're still a kid and you blink and 10 years have passed? These are my honest opinions of the early stages of your years and kind of how you grow as time goes on. First we have is the early years. The early years are the moments where you're from elementary, I think, to like middle of high school, right? Life is easy. You're just hanging out with your friends or gaming or going to the mall. Even if you're not buying anything, you're just like window shopping. Window shopping was cool back then. You know, you have no cares in the world. Your food is getting made every night by your mom or your dad or your respected guardian. But at the end of the day, you had no worries. I just had vivid memories of like the 2008 recession and I'm just have no cares in the world. I'm watching cartoons, not knowing in back my parents are struggling. The economy isn't going great, but that didn't matter to me because at the end of the day, as long as the TV and I had game and I had food, I was okay. But that just kind of shows you the naiveness of how we were when we were younger, when we had no cares in the world. At that moment, we still had holidays too. We had summer, we had Christmas break, we had Thanksgiving break. Like as an adult, you don't have those. Summer really felt like the best time in the world because you didn't have to go to school. You had no obligation but to have fun with your friends, go on vacation, and you didn't care who was paying for it. We just knew that you were going every single year. Those are the years where you're, like I said, you're blind to the world, but you were having fun and it felt like it was always going to be there, but you couldn't wait to grow up, or so you thought. Next we have is the growing years. This I say is from college to your early 20s. You're still figuring yourself out. You really don't know what you like. You're still like at this phase where you're not really you're perceived as an adult, but you're not perceived in the sense of like you have to have everything you have got going on. You're just getting out of school, you're getting your first job, you still might be living with your parents, which is not a bad thing, but for the most part, you're still having to depend on somebody else. You're still having fun, you have friends that you've grown. College is where you really kind of come into your own, right? You start making friends of who's going to be rocking with you for life, because I don't know if you ask too many people, they don't really talk to a lot of people from high school. I don't. I might be maybe a handful of people that I still hang out with from high school, but for the most part, most of my lifelong friends I've made in college, these are the people I'm going to be in their wedding, they're going to be in my wedding. At the end of the day, these are the people who you can count on and you can call on. The growing years are kind of the formative years that kind of define who you are. You kind of start coming into your own. You might be considered a late bloomer, but at the same time, you start losing acne. You start growing more facial hair that you might not know where it came. I call it the second puberty. But trust me, these are some important years, and these are the years I think that we all kind of start hitting our stride. And then lastly, this is what I call the UNC years. I think UNC is the new term people are calling for old people, especially myself. I'm 28, I'm coming to those years, but at the same time, these are the years that you gotta essentially start figuring your shit out. You gotta start figuring out what you are wanting to do. You might have made a career change at this point. You might are looking to make a career change. You might be looking to go back to school because you thought you wanted something. But these are the years where essentially what you thought you have responsibilities. You have bills to pay, rent, mortgage, insurance. You're thinking about health insurance. You're thinking more about your joints. You can't eat everything that you want to eat anymore, right? These are the moments where you have to start tracking your calories, working out, stretching every day. Stretching is important, right? Lubricating your body just so you can function throughout the day. And it only gets worse, essentially, as you grow. So these are the years that you're really having to put more maintenance on your body to perform every day. But at the end of the day, these are the years that are, I think, the best, most valuable times of your life. This is when you're starting to get married or getting to lifelong relationships, having kids, or watching your kids grow up. But these are some important years because now you're seeing the cycle coming to fruition. You tell me, what year are you in? Are you in your early years, or are you kind of becoming an UNC? Tell me, drop a comment below.